Hey guys, what's up? My name is Simon. Your name is gonna be jealous because I already played Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I visited the Treyarch studios in LA last week and the guys over there made some huge changes to the game we all know and love for so many years. I'm gonna walk you through it. I already played it. I'm gonna tell you how it felt. I'm gonna tell you everything I know about multiplayer, about single player, about the zombie mode, everything. So keep watching. Now I know you guys all want to hear about that multiplayer and the huge changes Treyarch made to it, but I thought, well, let's save the best for last and jump into the single player first.
Soldiers do.
Now I could talk for hours about the story or the setting in 2065, or the fact that Treyarch takes this Call of Duty into the science fiction genre. Yes, this is a science fiction game. It has robots, it has cyborgs, people with robotic cybernetic augmentations, arms, legs, cyber powers from their mind, you name it. Yes, this is a science fiction game, but it also does a lot of interesting things gameplay wise, new things. First and foremost, it has 4-player co-op, which is completely new to the series. You can play with 4 players online or 2 players local and well, go ahead, wreak havoc. More interesting though for me is the fact that all the players have these skill trees, and that basically means there's an RPG element to be found now. You can create your own unique character. These skill trees are all divided up into 2 pieces. You have cybernetic rigs on one hand, which are passive abilities, you know, like upgrading your defense, and on the other hand there's cyber cores, which are active abilities. Now there's more than 40 of them. We've only seen a few, like hacking a drone that flies over the battlefield, shooting enemies with it and be done with it. There's also the possibility to link melee attacks. There's a possibility to override robots from many feet away, you know. There's a short circuit kind of Darth Vader force choke thing going on over there, and you see robots like crumbling down into a little heap of scrap metal. Another interesting thing we saw was the tactical mode, which basically means, just like in Battlefield, you can tag enemies and your co-op partners can see them as well after you tag them. So a lot of interesting stuff going on in the single player, but I can't wait to see how it all pans out once you put it all together. Because it's obvious what Treyarch is trying to do here. They're bringing more personality to the table, with players each having their own unique soldier with their own unique skills and capabilities. They're also promising much larger areas to fight in, so you can really use the tactical capabilities of your team and work as a team as well, something that hasn't been done before in Call of Duty. Now Treyarch only showed me a couple of bits of a mission further on in the game with our team fighting in the streets of Cairo, but already you could get a feel for the tactical team play. One player was up on a mobile barricade tagging enemies down there, you know, nothing else, just tagging them, just showing his co-op partners where the enemies were. One big guy was down in the middle of the fight. He was short-circuiting and kicking robot ass. Another one was hacking a drone and picking off leftovers because, well, the first enemy tagged them already, so it was made easy for him. And like I said, it's just a snippet of the possibilities that this new team play with the skill trees and the unique players brings with it. But enough about single player, you know. I'm psyched for it. I love the changes they make. I love the science fiction vibe to it, something that Call of Duty really needed in my opinion. But single player is single player, and be honest, we all came here for one thing, and that is multiplayer. Now every year we got the same people saying the same stuff about COD, that it doesn't change enough. You know, the formula's been the same since Modern Warfare 1. They only tweak it a little, they only bring in a little gimmick, something like that, but it never really changes. Treyarch says, fuck that, 2015 is the year we're really going to change things. And they did in huge ways, mainly 2 huge ways. And the first one is a mode called Specialists. Specialists are 9 unique heroes, each with their own background story, their own voice acting, their own unique capabilities. The game is gonna have 9 of them. Treyarch already let me play with 4 of them. And the thing is, this is not an option, you know. You can't choose a nameless, anonymous soldier anymore and go into battle. You have to choose one of these specialists or heroes. You know, you guys who play League of Legends, you know the drill. You choose your own character and you go into battle. Now, each of these heroes has its own ability ability and its own unique power weapon. And before you go into the match, you have to choose one of the two. Now, as I said, Treyarch only showed me and let me play with the first 4 specialists, so let's go through them quickly. First off, there's Ruin. He's a Viking type guy. His power weapon are gravity spikes, you know. He rams them in the floor, causing an area of effect blast that demolishes anyone around him. His ability is called Override, which makes him a lot quicker than normal soldiers, you know. You can imagine playing a game of Capture the Flag. You have the flag in hand, want to return to base as soon as possible, so why not use Override and run as fast as a fucking jaguar? There's also Seraph, which she has an Annihilator as a power weapon. Now the Annihilator is kind of like a golden gun, one shot, one kill weapon. You shoot an enemy, doesn't matter what distance you're on, doesn't matter where you hit him, he dies with one bullet. If there's a buddy behind him, that buddy dies as well, because this bullet doesn't know how to stop. Pretty powerful weapon, yes. Her ability is the ability to rack up more points. When you're making kills or taking over domination checkpoints, if you activate her ability, you get way more points for it to rack up them score streaks even quicker. As I mentioned before, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is a science fiction game no matter what anyone else tells you. So why not have a robot as one of the specialists? And they called him Reaper, and his power weapon is the ability to transform his arm into a minigun, which is, well, pretty awesome for spraying multiple enemies at once. He also has a pretty great ability called Glitch, which allows him to warp back 3 seconds in time, actually just to the location he was at 3 seconds before. You can imagine being chased down by an enemy. You use Glitch, you are behind your enemy, shoot him in the back, and, well, another kill for Reaper. Last but not least, there's already my favorite specialist. Her name is Outrider, and she let me play with her power weapon. And no, that's not a euphemism for something else. She actually has a power weapon. It's a bow with explosive arrows. The bow is called Sparrow, and it kind of feels like Rambo and Hot Shots in one. And I can tell you, man, there's nothing beats drawing out this bow to its fullest capacity, releasing an explosive arrow, shooting someone in the face with it. It's really the best Call of Duty kill I ever made in my life. She also has an ability which no one is going to use, because who choose an ability over a fucking bow with explosive arrows? Anyways, for those of you who want to know, the ability is I don't know, it's Vision Pulse it's called, and it shows enemies through walls, which is probably great for using in search and destroy, or I don't know, who cares? She has a bow with explosive arrows. I want to close off on the specialist section real quick, but not before I explain how this stuff works. I'm gonna do it real quickly. You know, these specialists all have their own experience levels, so you can level up your specialist and unlock new abilities or change abilities. That's not quite clear yet. What is clear is they have their own progression system. Like I said, you can only choose the weapon or the ability to take in a battle, and everyone can use them at least once, because at the start of the battle there's a meter for your weapon or ability powering up. It takes about 4 minutes for a weapon to power up and about 2 minutes for an ability to power up if you do nothing at all. If you play like the average player, Treyarch told me, is going to be using those weapons and abilities in about half the time. You know, you make kills, you rack up points, and that meter fills even quicker. Now, for those of you afraid of matches, well, with people running around using powerful abilities and overpowered weapons all the time, like one big circus shooting freak show, don't be. You know, there's a couple of safeguards in place to make sure this shit stays balanced. For instance, you have to still use these weapons and abilities at exactly the right time. I remember playing with Outrider. I drew my bow, finally got it, and at the moment I drew it, I got shot in the back, I died, lost my weapon, had to save up for it all over again. And even for better players, you know, it takes a while to save up for these weapons and abilities. And also, if you use them and you use them correctly, like with Seraph, with Annihilator, you run around, shoot people, but eventually your meter drains again, you lose the Annihilator, and you have to save up for it all over again. So don't worry about people just linking abilities and weapons and everything together for an entire match long. No, you have to choose, will I bring a weapon, will I bring an ability, and even then you can use it, I don't know, 2, 3, maybe 4 times a match. Everyone can, and I can tell you, it's awesome.
Weapons don't have instincts. Weapons don't have loyalty. Weapons don't have judgment.
Now, I talked about 2 major changes to the game, and the first change was the specialist. The other change is the new mobility for players, and really this is my all-time favorite change in a Call of Duty game ever. You have to play it to believe it, but seeing it is great and spectacular as well. It kind of comes down to this: you can shoot your weapon at any moment, whatever you're doing, and you can do a lot of new stuff like swimming, which never works in a video game, except in this one. You can just swim, shoot underwater, use like the sprint button to swim faster. You can shoot players out of the water, shoot them while they're in the water and you're not. And it works, it actually works. There's tons of other stuff too, like wall runs. You just jump towards a wall, press X again, and you can run along it. If you want to change direction, just press back and you'll change direction and keep sticking to the wall, which is pretty spectacular as well. Shooting someone from a wall is kind of like one of the best things to do in this new Call of Duty. The two major things regarding mobilities for me are the power slides and thrust jumps. They all, or both of them, use the same stamina meter. It fills up pretty quickly, but it drains pretty quickly as well. And you can do them whenever you like, however you like. You can power slide forward, backward, to the side. You can power slide around the corner, shooting your gun like one badass Jet Li, John Woo action hero. And for the thrust jumps as well, you can use the jump button, keep it pressed in for one giant leap, but you can also use little thrusts of gas to jump off a roof and like floating, staying airborne, using those thrusts and really cover some distance. And like I said, you can use your gun at all times during each of these maneuvers, which is really a part of Treyarch's philosophy of winding down the combat loop, which is their way of saying we want you to shoot a gun, we want you to be in the action at all times, and there has to be zero moments when you can't use your gun, like when you're vaulting over an object or climbing a ladder, which is it doesn't make it a faster game per se, but it does make it a game which packs way more action than before in, let's say, an average minute. You know, normally you had like 50 seconds of shooting, and now the levels are still small. You can shoot your gun at any time, so let's say it has 59 seconds of shooting now, making a quick game, not quicker but more action packed than it already was. So guys, there you have it, the first bits and info on Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I hope you enjoyed it. I got a ton more to say, but let's just leave it at this for today. If you have any questions regarding how it felt playing the game, or any specific questions about new modes or zombies, whatever, just leave it in the comments and I'll try to answer it. For now, thanks for watching guys. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe, that will be awesome, besides leaving a comment or liking this video. And if you want to see stuff that I've done in the past, just click here for one of my reviews. Thanks guys.